Last of Us Part 2 gameplay is going to be at E3 this year, and one thing we won't be getting is multiplayer. We're just going to be seeing single player for the demo, but sometime in the future, sometime down the road, we are going to be seeing some type of multiplayer reveal, showing all the details of the multiplayer for the second game. And if you haven't played the first game's multiplayer, you're missing out on the most immersive, addicting experiences ever. And I suggest you go out right now and try it for yourself. In the multiplayer, there are a lot of great features, but it can be better. So in this video, I'm going to be listing off what Last of Us Part 2's multiplayer needs to add and what it should keep from the first multiplayer to make it fresh, interesting, and even more fun than the first one. Number one is new game modes. The game modes in the first game aren't bad. In fact, they're great and part of the reason why I got addicted to the game in the first place, but there isn't really a lot of variety. It's just kill 20 people, kill 4 people, unlock something, and then boom, that's it. I personally think a 6v6 mode would be very nice to see. It would be a bit faster and it could make it very unique. Maybe it could become even better than 4v4, but it would take a lot of time to balance everything around the mode. The maps may not be completely designed for 6v6, so they might have to make a few different maps for this mode as well. Another mode that would be a cool concept to work with is a grounded mode, aka hardcore. Damage is doubled or even tripled and there is no map and no listen mode. There will be no down, so basically everything is an execution, and having this in multiplayer would be amazing. So the modes would basically be supply raid, but everything I listed, and it would make the multiplayer very immersive and very intense. It's not a unique game mode, but it fits the world of The Last of Us perfectly and would be a thrill to play without a doubt. And the last mode I would want to be added is a competitive mode with ranks like Rainbow Six or Overwatch, and I think Naughty Dog can make something very special in terms of competitive. Their multiplayer is already great, and adding a mode that makes you even more tuned in will make a game like this even better and keep it fresh until Naughty Dog's next game with multiplayer. Last of Us is a game of skill when you think about it. You can't really get that lucky, and if you've put more hours than somebody else, the odds are you are going to be better than that person who doesn't have as much. I just think it's something that can be great and keep the game fresh for the years to come. Number 2 is Infected. Now this can be a game mode, a co-op mode, or even a map event. The idea is basically different waves of infected entered map at specific times during the match and attack both sides. Wave 1 would basically be runners and stalkers, and wave 2 would be clickers, and then wave 3 would be bloaters. This will change gameplay completely, making both sides not only have to be extra careful in the resources they use, but how they deal with each other. I can see teams making peace during the waves just to kill off the infected, and then go back to fighting once they're done. There are so many possibilities when it comes to this type of mode, and all of them are good ideas, and I think it's one of the most requested modes in the community by a mile. Infected is such a huge part of the game, and it's a shocker that it wasn't in the first game. It's the entire reason this game even exists in the first place, so it only makes sense to highlight that in the multiplayer more. Number 3 is more customizable options, and I think Naughty Dog understands this. If there's one thing that is, quote, bad about the multiplayer in The Last of Us, it's the lack of customizable options in the game. It's sort of shocking, honestly, but they can improve upon it in Part 2. Let us have more freedom over our character besides just the character's head. Uncharted 4 is a great example to pull from, and Naughty Dog can even bring in new factions and groups that they reveal in the story, and can have different options based on those factions. Different sets of clothing for each faction, and honestly they should go all out. I think the best mask in the first game was the Black Death bird mask, which is not only terrifying but hilarious to look at when you die too. But unfortunately, and I have to say this, you have to pay for this. You have to pay for a lot of these things in here, and it's very unfortunate, and hopefully they change that as well in the second game. Now the bird mask and stuff would be available to all factions, but the shirts and the pants will be unique for each group. This will allow Naughty Dog to have a more varied set of options to add in and give us more fresh content to have over the years we play. I think we can all agree the maps in The Last of Us Part 1 are perfect. There are very few maps in the game that you don't want to play. Each one is diverse and fun to play, and I never see myself shying away from any of them. So since it's not broke, please don't try to fix it. Keep the environmental maps from the dam, suburbs, and lakeside, and maybe even coal mine. I think that one has one event. I think it's like that. And these maps always give me the best experiences, and everyone always chooses these maps when they pop up, which is rare most of the time. That's really all I want. I want each map to give me a fun time that I don't forget. And since this is in Seattle, I can see them using rain and snow a lot. and mainly rain. I don't think that was ever used. For example, there could be a map in the middle of a ruined city, maybe near the Space Needle or something, and out of nowhere just a massive thunderstorm rolls in and ruins everybody's vision, hearing, and maybe even mobility. That's something the downtown map clearly missed out on in the first game. It's one of the most common storms that you don't see in The Last of Us 1. Just make the same fresh maps from the first game. If we revisit an area, let's say the dam or something, which could happen in the next game, then they can remaster the map or redesign it in a new way. I have faith that Naughty Dog can do this, and it's going to be very exciting to see what they're doing. Number 5 is record mode. Why isn't this a feature? I have no idea why it isn't, but we really need this implemented into this game. Creating your own little film out of the games that you played, or just making clips in general, is something all of us want. It's just a small feature that makes the game just so much better and allows people to have more freedom over the game. It also allows people who are usually not as creative in terms of editing and other stuff to create something fun. And many games have it, and even Uncharted 4 did it. So I believe that this will actually be in the game and will be a feature that will be presented in a proud way, just like Uncharted 4 did it. And number 6 is the gear system. So if this game is a very stealthy, limited resources type of game, then changing the gear up system may be the best idea. Instead of giving us 13 points, maybe give us 15 or 17, but take away more of our ammo, make us rely more on our skills in the stealth to outsmart our enemy by giving us more survival skills in return. Or keep it the same way and change some of the survival skill abilities and guns to keep the feeling in the tone of the first game. Clearly something's going to have to change because it is, 4 years in the future. So I'm pretty sure that something will change. The weapons may change. Whatever they're using is going to be completely different by the time they get to this point. And I know Naughty Dog is working hard on this game, and I'm sure they're going to deliver something game-changing and even more addicting than the first one. They know what they're doing, and they've had enough time to embrace all the components of the first game. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new to this channel, and if you are excited for The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer. Let's try to reach maybe 100 likes on this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video.